Let's dig into it, starting with Charles Payne, because you were ahead of this on Friday. You were talking about the truth of the tariffs, and here we are.
Yeah, the narrative is like, instantly, there's bad for the economy, it's inflation. You heard Chuck Schumer there. And so I looked at the two of the greatest periods of economic growth in history, right? The McKinley era, which we've talked about, but also the Roaring 20s. The Roaring 20s, the setup is identical, right? You had the Spanish flu, you had the World War I, all of the things. We had the war on terror, we had COVID, we came out of it, but we had a massive recession. We had an emergency tariff act in 1921, and then we had the Fort Norman Cumber tariffs in 1922, which, by the way, were the harshest we've ever had in this country, even harsher than Smoot-Hawley. So how do we have tariffs that began in 1921 to 1930, and also the Roaring 20s, where the stock market went up 500%? How did they coexist? And by the way, when Smoot-Hawley came into effect, it wasn't inflation. It was the greatest disinflation, deflationary period in American history. If there was fear-mongering, it should be, hey, this could be. If it's Smoot-Hawley, we would be talking about deflation, not inflation, because the real matter is, if I go into a store with $100 and I'm going to buy two things that cost $50, if one costs $60, I'm buying one, right? And I'm going to leave, and I may substitute the one for $60 and buy an American version of it for $52, but I'm not going to buy both. So there's actually less spending, and that's what really happens. It's like if you study history, we've had some amazing periods of economic gain, but here's the key: you can't measure it day to day. You can't measure it to week. The stock market measures everything in every 3 months in quarterly basis. If we're talking long-term prosperity, really bringing businesses back, manufacturing back, you can't. The American public hasn't allowed the president to let this work over a period of time. And I think he started working on that with some of these his posts over the weekend.
Yeah. And Dagen, I mean, when it comes to President Trump, they're already coming to the table. He implements the tariffs, and he has a deal, or at least for 30 days, a pause with Mexico, and they're trying to do something. And he'll talk to Trudeau a little bit later. People are expecting something possibly from that as well. This is like his playbook.
So some investors freaked out at the beginning of trading and early trading yesterday. But one of the freakouts to watch was how strong the dollar was. So the dollar skyrockets. So when you have a strong dollar, what does that do? It fights inflation. It fights the inflation of imports. So that would be a strong dollar counters the tariffs to some extent if they indeed go into place first. But I was watching what a lot of really important investors were saying on X over the weekend. And they were lining up with the thinking that behind President Trump. And Kevin Hassett said this morning, the chair of the National Council of Economic Advisors, Trump was absolutely 100% clear that this is not a trade war. This is a drug war. And Kyle Bass himself said the United States seized 43 pounds of fentanyl at the Canadian border last year alone. That's enough fentanyl to kill 9.7 million Americans. And that's what we caught. Imagine what got through, and Trudeau is upset about tariffs. Mexico and Canada know damn well what to do. And then Dan Loeb was cautioning everybody about he was actually kind of castigating Larry Summers, which I appreciate. Second-order thinking required to understand this move. Luke looked at superficially from even a brilliant economist framework. Your conclusion is understandable. Consider the possibility that Trump is using these tariffs and American might to protect us from an onslaught of deadly drugs that our northern and southern neighbors have done little to curtail and likely profit from. Consider, too, the reality that politicians respond to incentives, and Trump gave both countries an incentive to enforce drug laws. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you'll miss all that heavenly glory, which is from a Bruce Lee movie, Charles, which I knew you would appreciate.
Wow, here we go. He's good at the poetry references, too.
From an economic standpoint, Taylor, and Dagen is making some of the points about the dollar and whatnot, it's going to hurt the other nations more than it hurts us.
Totally. And Dagen brought it up. With the dollar strength, the Canadian dollar was the weakest since 2003, which shows us, the market is telling us, they need us more than we need them. The peso was the lowest since March of 2022, I believe. Again, they need us more than we need them. It's almost as if I had a chart just for Charles Payne here today, right? Pull it up for the control room. And Jackie, this speaks to the economics. If we impose the tariffs that we had proposed, which we know that the Mexican ones are rolled back, it takes us up just back to the tariffs that we had in 1940. That chart, all the way on the left, that's like the early 1800s, the amount of money, the duties collected from tariffs. So if you think about where we are long term, this is barely a little blip in the radar.
Yeah.
This is nothing compared to the 1800s, the early 1900s. And again, all the notes that I was reading this morning from analysts were, it's all about duration. GM can handle this for 30 to 60 days. 6 months, that's a different story. But we can do this for a couple days. The supply chains are resilient enough.
And Brian, what it says to me is that we've got a president who puts a line in the sand, a red line, whatever it is. And unlike other presidents in the past, he doesn't allow nations to cross it. And he's basically saying, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You're either going to clean up the border, you're going to stop the drug trade, or we can go this route. It's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, you caught me when you talked about all the financial advisors or investors freaking out over the weekend. I was trying to have a weekend at the cabin, okay? And everybody kept texting me and saying, oh my gosh, tariffs are here. Are you freaking out? What are you going to do? Wait for Monday. And I just said, yeah, can we just wait for Monday? Like, can we just see what happens on Monday? And Monday comes, so he does the tariffs over the weekend, and then Monday comes, and he's talking to Scheinbaum, and he's talking to Trudeau, and we've already got one deal on it, and the big freak out that we were doing all weekend seems overblown, right? You have a deal maker and president. He's not an economist. He's not going to act like an economist. He's not going to speak like an economist, but he cares about the economy. And he's going to get a deal done for the economy. And this, I love the hassle line. I'm glad you brought it up. It's a drug war. It's not a trade war. So pay attention to that bottom line.